You know what, the good way to kick off a podcast, Joel? Welcome to Story Mode, a video game podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Munro, and tonight I'm joined by two beautiful lads coming straight out of my womb. I was going to imply that I gave you birth to you both, and I've been playing a lot of Scorn, guys.
It's having
yeah, clearly you have.
A lot of Scorn, and it really messed me up. Kyran Morrison, John McDonald, I apologise. How are we doing?
You forgive me. I accept your apology.
I was doing okay until I was birthed.
It was a lot. It was a lot to process at this time of the night, honestly.
The game's fucked me up. Everything is bits.
But it's Scorn.
It is a big lump of knobs. And I tell you what, you heard it here first. That game has the juice. Too much, some would say.
It's a lot of juice. It's a juicy
juice
game.
aside, though, how we doing?
I'm good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, no need to elaborate. We'll wrap it up there. So thanks for listening to the podcast.
I mean, the only thing I was going to say is I miss PAX. That's really the only thought I've got right now. I'm back at work now, so it's the brutal reality of doing a job, and that sucks. That shit's overrated, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was like it's been like a somewhat good weekend in terms of like getting to watch Kind of Funny launch their new studio, and I've been like, when I've just got time and I have like want to have something on in the background on YouTube, I've just had that stream going and just like watching bits and pieces of it, and it's just absolute beautiful chaos, and I love it so much.
Like when we have our little like business meetings, ooh la la, often I'll come up with an idea and be like, I'm just stealing that from Kind of Funny, aren't I?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to steal this idea, guys. We're gonna buy ourselves like a warehouse.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, we're gonna do it up.
Yeah.
All right.
It's gonna be great until the police come and charge us.
He's got video, like Tim's got video walls and a video floor. Let's do a video
Camera.
Hear him out. Wait.
Fuck.
Hear him out.
Yeah.
Come on, Joel, commit to the bit.
A video door.
A video store. We'll open up a Blockbuster.
A video door, but store. Yeah.
A video door. Okay.
Door.
Yeah.
I guess you can't, because they've got what, the floor and the wall. Easy Allies have like a video window, so we got to do door, I guess.
Yeah, door's the next natural progression.
Kyran, you have a new video
or ceiling
video stream. You got new.
Yeah, I guess.
We all got new gear.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Speaking of video, I guess Kyran's looking beautiful with his new camera. You know, for those listening to the podcast, we're available on Spotify and iTunes. You can actually hear me, and I apologize for that. And Joel, if you're watching us on twitch.tv/storymode_AUS, you may see him look slightly to the side. That's because he has two screens to look at now. He can get distracted.
Welcome to
He's watching the Kind of Funny
being distracted.
stream in the other.
Yeah, I got shit going. I got chat over here. I got Audacity. I can actually look at Audacity now while I'm recording, which is, I'm not flying blind anymore, which is lovely. So
I'm going to make the most first world nerd piece of shit problem complaint right now. I have two monitors, but they're too big.
Must be nice.
I have a twin like monitor arm, and it can't hold them both side by side properly. So I've got one vertical.
Yeah.
And it's
I gotta say, I bought the same one that Kyran's got, like for a secondary monitor, and I bought it with the intent of it being solely a vertical monitor, and I like this setup. I like having, like, I have like a D&D. I play D&D with some friends, and I'm looking forward to, like, we do like online and in-person stuff, but I'm looking forward to our next online one and being able to have my character sheet, our maps, and anything else I need over here. So it's going to be good.
Here's the problem I have now, though, right? Now that I've got two monitors, I'm like, but what if I had a third monitor?
Oh, Kyran's gone big.
No, at one point while working from home, I had two monitors, my tablet and my laptop going at once.
Oh.
And I felt like a very depressed Tony Stark.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But I guess that's for work, right? But for fun, for leisure.
Look, one of the screens was for work. My work laptop was. Everything else I had like story mode shit going on.
Yeah.
Which is work, I guess.
Exactly.
Once we get an ABN, can we officially start calling this work?
Yeah.
Sure.
Can we also write off the third monitor as a tax cut? I'm just saying. I'm going to try and find the positives here.
Can you remind me to make a little logo that says the third monitor in the same way as the spare bedroom.
Please.
The third monitor stickers. That'd be fine. Oh, that's stealing their design.
monitor.
It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Lads, I can tell we're all sort of wrecked from last weekend because we were at PAX Australia 2022. Joel, Kyran, myself, Felix, and Simon all got to hang out together. Those two coming from wherever the fuck they come from, the lands of scorn. It was good. We actually got all together. We did our first live in-person show at Rec Studios. You can guys check that video out at our new YouTube channel, Story Mode Gaming. I don't know how do you plug a YouTube channel? I don't know how to do that. Look at Story Mode Gaming, I guess.
What's the...
You may find a few other channels called Story Mode Gaming. Just scroll past them. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, no, don't go there.
Yeah, we don't want to go those.
Look for our logo. Look for the campfire. Okay, it's like the fireflies. You can go check that out there. You can also check out the show we did from the PAX show floor for in the Audio Technica booth. The beautiful Audio Technica booth. I miss it every day.
I think about it. I still think about it. There, we talked about battle royale games and came up with. Guys, I listened back to the episode. The game we came up with was pretty legit. Kickstarter. Let's go to Kickstarter.
That.
I can't make a game, but
we can't make games, but we sure can talk about it.
I mean, fucking. Is it Fresh and Laserbeam are like helping make a game? I played a little bit of it last night, and it's okay. It wasn't for me, but yeah, it's a game called World
But our
Boss.
game would be.
Yeah, it would be. I'd be down to play that. Carl Urban Chaos. Let's go.
Carl Urban Chaos.
I'm already
Make
promoting it.
Just don't abbreviate it.
I'm already
don't turn it into an acronym.
I'm I'm gonna get
Carl
out
Urban
now,
Mania.
like the Bureau of Meteorology, and don't abbreviate it.
What do they want to be called now? Just the Bureau?
The
Because
Bureau?
that's like
ominous. Like
It's
the Bureau
super
is,
ominous.
it's got ominous tones to it.
That's got
if
control
they
vibes.
become the Bureau, do you think their reign of terror will begin?
Oh boy,
That joke doesn't work very well audibly, but written down, fuck, side splitter. Okay.
Stormy weather ahead.
Boo.
Yep.
I have no sun. Get it? Like the sun.
Yeah. Yep.
Guys, PAX.
Is it out of a system now? We all good?
Yeah, look, we had to talk about.
I'm not gonna lie. I was still trying to think of some more, but it's fine.
It's a video game podcast. We had to talk about the Bureau of Meteorology. Okay, just
Of
them's
course,
the
like,
breaks.
unavoidable. You know those guys.
No. Isn't the Bureau like in control? That's
Yeah, there's a Bureau of Control.
that's the Bureau, Federal Bureau of Control. So that's what I think of.
Gun control.
Gun control. Yeah.
Beautiful segues. Let's talk about PAX though. Just from the top, give me your war stories. We had a time. You guys, we met up a few times. I think we were all in a sense of chaos. It was a bit of a weird PAX. So it was the first PAX back in 2-3 years because of I don't know. There was something happened. I can't remember what it was.
There's like this little pandemic or something. Yeah,
Never heard of it.
It's
never heard of it.
probably
Gone
nothing.
now, right? Yeah.
Just inclement weather. What did we think? Because it was different.
I mean, yeah, it was different. And I think that was the general consensus from talking to a lot of people that we spoke to. Like anyone you'd speak to was just like that had been to PAX before as well was like, yeah, it's good to be back, but it's not quite there yet. But it wasn't bad. Like it wasn't. I don't think it was a negative experience by any means. It was just, I don't know. It felt different. I don't know whether it was just because we haven't done it for a while and it just felt strange, or whether there were some glaring omissions from the show floor. But yeah,
That's where it becomes weird for me. And I bear no grudges. I liked my time at PAX. But the reason it felt weird for me is at most other PAXs, like each day at least, I'd be like, cool, well, there's one game I'm going to go and queue for probably 2 hours to play for 15 minutes. And that's just going to be my morning as I'll get in early and I'll jump in that queue. And not having that pressure this time was kind of nice, like to just wander in and be like, oh yeah, just look around the show floor and not be too stressed about going and queuing up for anything. But it did make it feel weird. Still, again, no regrets. Loved having the 3-day badge to come and go as I wanted. We'll still do that next year. But yeah, just a weird vibe. And as Joel said, like it being 2 years since we'd last gone, that was probably the most people I've been around at a given moment in at least the last 2 years, since the last PAX, almost certainly. So that was strange. But at the same time, like I know it's like their moniker and all that, but seeing like the welcome home signs did hit especially hard. I was like, oh,
yeah.
I feel
the first day of PAX pissed down with rain.
Yeah,
but
just
the next day
like my first PAX.
Beautiful. Like, and I remember on the Sunday, we're there until the end, and I'm walking up towards the station, and you look back and the sun's setting over the Yarra. You have all these people who are exhausted, but just smiles on their faces, making new friends, talking shit, and you just have that welcome home thing, and it was the best thing I've seen for so long. I agree. This was definitely a return to form. No, sorry, not a return to form. It was a return to PAX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a while for that to become what it used to be.
It felt almost like how I felt after coming out of The Force Awakens, weirdly, where it was like, okay, yes, this was just A New Hope again.
The fuck,
but like...
I am also doing some mental gymnastics to catch up.
Before didn't make any sense, but thanks, Joel.
Fucking made so much more sense in my mind. Oh. No, like it was. God damn. No, but it was like
watching Sleepless in Seattle. No.
Christ. All right, fucking forget I said anything. It's fine. no, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine. I had a good time. Fine.
So I would definitely say this wasn't exactly the Jurassic Park Dominion of PAXs, but Kyran, what Star Wars movie would you compare this PAX to?
Oh, if I was to compare it to a Star Wars movie, I would probably say Force Awakens.
Oh, fuck me. I have written myself off already.
Early on. We're like 15 minutes into this bad boy. And he was like,
bodes well for the rest of Joel's show. Should go well.
I'm cactus. I'm toast, mate. Thanks for having me, everyone. I'll see you next time.
That was the Rise of Skywalker of jokes.
I don't want to talk about Rise of Skywalker.
There you go. Yeah, you found the line, Jesse. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker is the line. We don't talk about that yet.
See, now the joke's dead. We killed it.
Still hurts.
Let the past die.
But it was look. I think. God damn it! I think one of the best ways of summing up PAX this year can be summed up in one word, and that's Bodies.
Bodies.
I think Bodies is
you gotta go Bodies.
The best way to describe it. Just hanging out at Boatmakers and having a beer, having a feed, having a laugh,
getting sunburned.
I spent so much time so for those that haven't been to PAX in Australia before, which you should, you're missing out if you haven't.
Right.
It's along the Yarra River, and along the Yarra River there's also a bunch of pubs. One of them is called the Boat Builders, and everyone at PAX goes there and drinks heavily. Now, this is my first PAX being in my 30s. This is my first PAX being part of Story Mode. Story Mode gaming started during COVID, so we've made so many friends from other podcasts, other streamers. So many people have become friends online we actually haven't met before. So this is a real social event. So I spent so much time drinking at Boat Builders and playing Jenga.
Yep.
Very drunk Jenga.
Cheering on people who were also playing Jenga.
Yes.
Oh, there was one day where we had lunch and we were like, okay, let's get up, let's go play some games, and we sat there for another 45 minutes watching two people play
the most
intense game of Jenga. It blew my mind.
That Jenga tower should have collapsed so many times.
It was funny because we were just like, all right, well, after this game's done, it'll wrap up soon. We'll go play some games, and then cut to half an hour, 45 minutes later, we're just like, how is this still going?
Back to the show floor though. One thing I did, as soon as I walked in, you could tell it was weird because I walked in and people weren't immediately touching me. There was room. The walkways felt wide. There was dead areas. And I've never seen a PAX like that before, where there was
especially on the
Friday of nothing.
Yeah, especially on the Friday.
Yeah, the only time I really noticed actual congestion was probably on the Sunday when all the the esport booths were starting to do their last minute shout, throwing out whatever loot and stuff they had left. That was the only real time I noticed massive clumps of people starting to mass. Otherwise, there was a pretty decent flow to moving around, which was good.
I never lined up for a game. I'm so used in past PAXs, I would line up for hours to play Horizon. And there weren't many, other than indie games, which we'll get to shortly. We had Street Fighter 6, which I just walked to a console to play.
Yep, we did too.
Yeah, pretty much.
There was Sonic Frontiers, which had a line. Can't explain it.
Yeah,
I'm so disappointed because my partner walked past it and said that she saw somebody dressed like Jesus, because the cosplay, and we'll get to the cosplay soon. Somebody dressed like Jesus waiting to play Sonic Frontiers. And I told her, you missed an opportunity to take a photo that would become the next great meme.
Yeah.
Because seeing the big man himself lining up to play the big man's game, Sonic Frontiers, would have been
that's the seal of approval that Sonic needs.
There's two things there. Despite there not being much on the floor, and I walked around this place multiple times, the signage for some things was so poor. There was a Steam Deck, which you could play. I didn't know until earlier this week that you could do that. Oh,
really?
To be fair, it wasn't a draw card that was hey, come play this Steam Deck.
I didn't see it, though.
It was... I stumbled across it by pure coincidence because... it was not a game I'll be talking about today, but it was Tempopo by Witchbeam Studios, Witchbeam Games, who made Unpacking. It was their new game. It's a great game, and I was like, I actually want to play that because I like the studio because Unpacking was great. I
didn't know that was okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Witchbeam.
Unpacking's that good that is now top of my radar.
Yeah, it's a completely different. It's a completely different game, but it's very good. I was like, I'll line up and play it, and it just happened to line up that I was like, I stood there and I was like, do you want to come play this? I said, yeah, sure. And they were like, yeah, have a seat here, and it was a fucking Steam Deck, and I was like, well, I guess I'm playing a Steam Deck today.
God damn, how was it?
It's really good. I tell you what, I just got my tax back. If they were available in Australia, I would have one now. I check
most days. I'm like, mate, what if I log into Steam today and they're like, fuck off, Australian. I'm like,
yeah,
fair enough, I guess.
And they're right.
Guess I'll jump back on my kangaroo and head back to work.
But honestly, it was it's surprisingly light. It looks like it's a chunky boy, and it is, but it's light. It felt not cumbersome to hold, which was good.
That was my worry because I'm one of the people who on this rare time I play my Switch, I play it in bed. And the amount of times I've dropped my phone on my face, I'm scared I would drop the Steam Deck on my face, and it would be like that scene in Breaking Bad where the ATM falls in the guy's face when he's underneath it.
Yep.
And my partner would come home and I'm just crushed.
Yeah.
It's like Final Destination. With gore.
Doing what you love, though.
Yeah. But Jesse finally ran out of steam. So, hey, if I'm going down, I'm going down.
Star Wars game would you compare the Steam Deck to in regards to weight?
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. Yeah, because it had fucking. Don't even. I'm mad now.
The other thing that was there that I missed was the Alan Wake remake was there apparently.
No. The Alan Wake remake wasn't there.
Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark.
Sorry, Alone in the Dark. Sorry.
Don't you say anything like that.
Sorry.
There was apparently there was just a little cube room somewhere, and Alone in the Dark was in there, and I couldn't find it all weekend.
I saw a post up, but that was about it.
Yeah, where was it?
The other game that we thought was there was
I would have wanted to play.
There was that rumor going around for everyone. It's they got Skull and Bones here. It's okay, that's a game that kind of makes sense to have a demo version here. You can play it, get people hyped up. Maybe they were going to originally have it on the boat like they did with Sea of Thieves years ago. Blah blah blah. It just turned out to be a big fucking wheel.
Yep.
I mean, it was upstairs in a weird place, so I never saw it.
Nope.
I don't think anyone did. But yeah, Xbox wasn't there, Sony wasn't there, Nintendo wasn't there. and they normally take up most of the show floor. EB Games in past have set up a massive store. They weren't there.
I feel like that was
Red Bull DJ must have got COVID because he wasn't there. I was eating my nuggets in peace.
It's funny. I've played in one of the. You know how they always have the DJ booth in the back of the car, like in like the it's like a Volkswagen Beetle or whatever. I've played in that setup once outside a club in Bendigo. It was fun.
You know who was at PAX though? Square Enix.
Yeah, showing a game that's been out for a million fucking years and no one could play it, and they were giving out packs of old mee-goreng noodles. If
only we had someone who could like speak to like, you know, the struggles of trying to be in that line.
Shame we don't have anyone on this podcast who likes Final Fantasy, so may as well move on. But no, I think one of the cool things is it gave the indie section a lot of time to breathe, and I think a lot of people played the indie games when they normally wouldn't.
Yeah.
I like that even, so we went and saw Shuhei Yoshida's kind of keynote speech. I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, like, good, just like a charming guy. But I found his stories very real and very inspirational. I think everyone kind of left that show with a bit of a pep in their step.
And it's funny as well, actually, how perfect it ended up being having Shuhei be the storytime guy with the massive focus on indies because the AAAs weren't there. They ended up actually pairing together really well.
Yeah,
it was very good.
And he shared that. He's like, I've been to a bunch of PAXs before, and I've never seen a focus like this on indie games. And look, Australia's indie scene is getting noticed, especially throughout COVID. Like, people, Australia makes fucking good games.
Yep.
He spoke about Cult of the Lamb for ages. It was
Melbourne
great.
in particular is like a hub for that kind of shit.
Don't be sleeping on Adelaide over there, though.
Of course, yeah, I know, yeah, okay.
Friends
shout out
of
to
the show.
Team Cherry.
Shout out to Team Cherry.
Well, I mean, we're going to go through indies in a second. My game of the show is from Melbourne. Spirit World's being made here, and so good. I just do want to go back to a game that I'm not sure if you guys played. Did you guys play Street Fighter 6?
Yes. We tried once.
We played one round.
What do you think?
I mean, it's hard. Yeah,
it's hard as a fighting game, like to like really gauge it. Here's what I'll say: I loved it, but as soon as I walked away from that demo station, I was immediately jealous of everyone at home playing the closed beta that was happening that same weekend. I was like,
yes.
Fuck.
But I tell you what, it didn't dampen my spirits towards that. I'm still very excited to play Street Fighter 6, especially if that World Tour mode is going to be like as good as I feel like it's going to be. Yeah, I'm into it.
I'm day zero on Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, I went from whatever to day one purchase. I had so much fun with that. I'm garbage at it. Would I get better at it? No. Will I buy it and then not play it much? Of course. That's what I do. The in-fight commentary adds so much, and it makes an absolute scrub like me feel like I actually know what I'm doing. Like, it makes me feel part. It's such like an esport vibe to it. I feel like a pro.
It's very cool. Yeah.
And having the two fighters come out and sort of like throwing shade in each other, walking through the crowd. It's like a little cut scene.
Did you try the game face stuff with the D-pad?
Oh, it's so good.
I only found out afterwards.
Oh, okay.
So good.
Yeah, it's great.
But I think touches.
There's also, like, I do want to say, I'm not sure how much of Street Fighter you've been following, but one of my favorite features it has is, again, amongst many, many, many of them, I don't think you could see it. Maybe you could have seen it in the demo. On Guile's stage, if you're not playing as Guile, he starts off he can be in the jet in the background, but as like the rounds go on, he will get out of a jet and he'll come closer to the fight, and like by the third round, I think he's usually standing like immediately behind you, like watching, and that shit is just
awesome.
Cool.
Guile's old mate with big hair, right?
Yeah,
Guile, yeah.
Okay,
boom. Yeah,
the new design of him looks like Broden Kelly from Auntie Donna with big hair. His face is spot on Broden Kelly.
Oh my god,
I see it. Yeah, wow.
All right, hang on.
I wasn't going to main Guile, but now maybe I have to. No, I got to stay. I've got to stay with Cammy.
Just a name drop.
She's my girl.
Speaking of Auntie Donna, went out for the a bunch of different podcasters from around Australia. We all caught up and we all got far too much pizza. Thank you, Brendan. Absolutely fucking shortened my life with deep dish pizza. But I had a really good night out. Again, PAX is somewhat an excuse to drink. Ran into Mark from Auntie Donna. Like, hey, who's this little blonde man here? It's Mark. I'm like,
they just released a book today.
They did?
Today or tomorrow? Today.
Mark also featured heavily in this week's episode of Finding Yeezus, a really good documentary series. Very, very, very funny.
I do need to watch that.
One of my favorite PAX memories. It was I don't know if it was the last one. Maybe it was the last one. But there was the one that both Mark and Broden were at.
Yeah,
it was just great. Just to, you could run into them on the show floor. Like
also, sorry, just to say, people we run into the show floor. I need to give a shout out to some of the cosplayers there because like I've been to many a PAX, and I've seen many a fantastic cosplay. Only one made me fucking squeal. Okay, I was walking out of the TOS girls show, which is fantastic, and saw across the room my boy Jack. Okay. She goes by the name Puffy Palaces. Go follow her on Instagram and Twitter and all the things. Does a bunch of different Jack cosplays, but she did Jack from Jack 2. The best Jack and Daxter cosplay I've ever seen. She even like made a little Daxter from scratch, like a little like plush version.
That's rad.
Hopefully going to have her on an episode of Love Letters in the future.
Nice.
So I can talk about Jack and Daxter because, of course, we're going to talk about Jack and Daxter. But yes, I need to shout that out because you could tell a lot of the cosplayers haven't had a chance to show these off in a few years.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of cosplays from older games, like not by older, I mean the last 2 years.
There was a Monster Hunter Rise like hunter there that apparently was in the cosplay competition, and I didn't see them at all. And I was like, "Oh man,
there was a lot of really good ones." Like honestly, some of my favorites I didn't really see until the last day. Like there was an amazing Melania walking around, haunting me on that third day.
Yep.
As we were leaving, Joel, back across that bridge, we saw those two girls who were cosplaying from 13 Sentinels. I'm like, I didn't know you were here. And I also met my good friend, now good friend.
I saw the 13 Sentinels cosplayers. They were great. They were really good.
I met my friend Jess K Cosplay, who was there as Justin Bailey Samus on the third day. Like, there was just a lot of really good cosplay.
There was the Xenomorph that was just fucking strolling around was incredible. Like,
did you see the 5 people dressed up as different pieces of the Exodia?
Yeah, another great cosplay.
Every year there's a group. There's a good group. I remember a few years ago it was like the Waluigi's going around.
Yep.
This year it was the 5 pieces of Exodia.
There was a Mario Kart one year. I remember there was like
there was a Mario Kart.
Yeah, it was really good.
Just also, Kyran, I feel like I need to give you a bit of an Elden Ring update. I'm still shit at it. I can't beat. I remember you telling me when you get to that bridge, take a left. There's an item you can get that will help you in. What's this bloodroot motherfucker's name or whatever his name? I don't even care. Don't even care. It'll help you in the second phase. 3 problems with that. First, the horse lord on that bridge. Hardest boss I've ever fought in the game. Okay, so I just run past them. I've gotten really good at running, unlike real life. I then get to Bloodroot Boy, and to use that item, you get to the second phase, and it helps block attacks. You're really assuming I get to the second phase often, aren't you? Because I'm not. And the few times I do, I'm like, all right, I'll just use this whatever it is, this claw thingy. Also, assuming that he gives you any time to use it.
Anytime, just let me know. I'll jump in and I'll revive my Elden Ring character and jump in.
Ooh, please, I need help, please.
which boss is that? The Bloodroot one. Is that
Mog? Are you talking about Mog? Are you talking about Mog or
no? Mog dealt with him.
Well, which Mog? There's 2 Mogs.
Oh fuck.
That's what I was saying.
Sorry to tell you about that, but there is a second Mog fight.
You know that guy you give the Bloodroot to? He's living in like a house elsewhere.
The Beast Man.
I don't know how you guys. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
The Beast Cleric. Yeah. He's back and he's
his second phase
with
is
a vengeance.
Bananas.
Yeah, and that's why I just can't do it because my build is very slow. Very like I pack a punch. Like I've got that sword that looks like the Iron Throne, and it's fully maxed out. Like it packs a punch, but it takes about 4 minutes to wind up.
Gotta buff that poise, baby.
And yeah, this guy does. He is hopping all over the place. He is hopped up on something.
And I just don't.
Probably.
I just don't want to fight him. So then I went to the snow for a little bit, and I reunited 2 jellyfish, which made me happy.
Oh,
all that little weird shit. Like I love
the stars together.
I love Elden Ring for its boss fights, and I love From Software games for their boss fights, but I also love it for their weird little lore shit like that. It's just like there's nothing else that really scratches that itch like From Software games.
It took a moment to be like to realize how you solve that. I'm like, oh, of course you do it this way. This is good. It's one of those games where often you'll play a game and you're like, hey, there's a more logical way to solve this problem, and it doesn't work. In this game it does. I'm like, okay. But, sorry about that. My mic arm doesn't like this new mic, so I'm going to teach it a lesson.
It just looked like your microphone got really excited then.
Yeah, it's Elden Ring.
It's Elden Ring, baby. We're all boning up here.
Future game of the year. Congratulations, Elden Ring.
Well done. Yeah. Speaking of games, yeah, sure. Why not? That will do for a segue. We played a shit ton of indie games in the PAX Rising session at PAX Oz 2022. And we're going to go through a list of some of our favorites. Some of them we played post-PAX, and they sort of went on Steam. There were demos available. All these games are, or almost all of these games are available in some form at the moment. Most of them have demos. Some of them were timed, unfortunately, so they could be over. But they're worth checking out, or at least adding to your wish list.
And also worth mentioning that Steam is frequently having these like festivals now, so I'm sure they'll be back up in a few months when there's another thing.
100%. Before we do though, if you do want to keep up to date with all of our other shit, I didn't even try to spruce it up anymore. We've just got so much.
Let's be honest.
We've just got so much stuff now, guys.
Check our shit out. And
just go and have a look.
Whatever,
too many things.
Just steal from Devolver Digital. Just check a look, guys. Just
take a look.
Check a look.
We are on all your socials at StormAus. We are on Twitch at twitch.tv/StormAus. And we also have that YouTube account. Go check it out. I'm very proud of the videos we have on there at the moment. There's 2, but there's more coming. And if you want to keep up, you want to know when they're happening, ring that little bell. Apparently that does something. I still don't understand YouTube. I'm over 30, guys. I'm over 30, okay? Yeah. I'm trying.
Yeah, I don't know what that feels like. Nope. Nah, this is a completely new feeling that you're feeling. I don't understand.
A game that I think may actually really embody the feeling of being over 30 is a game, Kyran, that you've been quite keen on, Dredge. Tell us about it.
So Dredge is actually a game I heard about, I want to say a few months ago, just from, I saw a Twitter post about it and I was like, shit, this game looks great. And I watched the trailer and was immediately in. I actually didn't know it was going to be at PAX. So when I was walking through PAX Rising and saw it, I was like, oh, it's here. I didn't play it at PAX because sometimes I get really weirdly nervous about playing indie games in front of indie devs. I'm like, don't judge me. I don't know what I'm doing. And sometimes they want to help you out and I'm like, don't.
And sometimes they want your help, which is great.
I know, but you're like,
oh, I really enjoyed your game. They're like, oh, is there anything we could fix maybe? No, just put
that's
it out.
Why I haven't, when it used to be there every year, it's why I never played Dead Static Drive. I'm just like too intimidated by how much I already love that game. Like, I can't do it.
It's also one of those things that sometimes you want a game that you've been looking forward to. I can't stream a game, for example, that I've been really looking forward to because I want to absorb that by myself in the right atmosphere, be in the right frame of mind. Dredge has a very particular atmosphere to it, which I don't think is very conducive to being in a big kind of crowded room. You want to play it quiet, contemplative.
It was nice to come home, get the demo, download it, chuck on my headphones, sort of like draw the curtains shut and just sort of like absorb myself into it. So Dredge is actually, it's actually, I'll start off first of all by talking a bit about the developer. It's being made by Black Salt Games, which are a New Zealand development group, which is made up of 3 game devs and a studio manager with dreams of bringing their own games to the world. And yeah, so Dredge, it's sort of like an open sea little isometric top-down fishing RPG game, and that's those mechanics are great and fine, but it has this like sinister undertone that's just sort of there the entire time you're playing it. And as you get further through it, from a demo at least, you start to pick up more and more and it's a hook. That's the hook for me because the fishing stuff and all that is solid.
Joel, get it? Hook fishing.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
See.
Hey.
Wasn't even intentional, but
took the bait.
It's how it went down.
Hook, line,
but yeah, then they start talking about because basically how the game works is you're on your boat. You can talk to some people back at the town where you start. You can shop, it's where you sell your fish and all that. But then you go out onto your boat and start fishing. Now, how the fishing works is you have basically got a time, and the time moves when you're moving around in your boat or fishing or dredging up stuff from wrecks and that. And at first you're like, oh yeah, this is fine. I'll just spend my day fishing. And then you've got a Resident Evil 4 style inventory where you've got to sort of like slot your fish into your inventory. And like
I was wondering that. Well, I saw a bunch of people messing around with like different puzzles and things like that. I'm like, why are you stacking fish up? What is happening?
It's cool. Yeah,
okay.
You gotta,
got the Resident 4 inventory style, which is one of my favorites.
Very cool.
That reminds me, I want to try that game called Save Point, that's just like Resident Evil 4 inventory puzzles. But yeah, so that's all good and well. That stuff was really solid. But then as the day starts to go on, and it hits like 6 p.m. and the fog starts to roll in, stuff starts getting weird. And they're like, the characters actually say, like, you can go out fishing all day. Don't stay out at nightfall, gets a bit, creepy and weird. And I honestly, in my time with the demo, I didn't stay out too late because I was like, no, I kind of want to save that for when I get the game. But even the times when I was out a little bit later, past 6 o'clock and the fog's there, and you need you've got like a light on your boat you can switch on, which becomes imperative to like navigating back to the harbor. Because if you like bump up against any sort of rock or land, it will actually damage your boat and maybe you'll lose some fish and stuff. And it's just like, but again, and that's great, but there's just something about this sinister atmosphere after 6 o'clock. There's a story there that I want to know more about. Yeah.
It's very Lovecraftian, isn't it?
That's what I was saying. It feels very eldritch horror. Yeah.
Like, yeah, very, very much like, unknowable, unspeakable horror.
You have... So I've had an eye on this game ever since I found how, like, Lovecraft it was. So I've been keen. And then, Kyran, you've been talking it up. So you've sold me on it. But invoking the name of Resident Evil 4, that gets me going. Yeah, like I said, like when I opened up, I got my first fish and I was like, oh, I'll pop it down in my little square. But it was only until I caught a couple. I'm like, oh, okay, I've only got a certain amount of space and they're all different shapes. And you can sort of like rotate them to sort of maximize the amount of fish you're actually carrying on your boat. And you get a little preview when you get to like a fishing point, like in the open area. It gives you like an indicator of what fish will be there, and also kind of like a hint as to what shape it's going to be. Yeah. And then like if it's like high, like plentiful or low in supply. Yeah. That is not a mechanic I would have expected to be in this game, but I'm keen. But you've also, the fact that you go out there, and I've said this a million times, one of my favorite feelings in a game is isolation. Yeah. So having to like sort of rush back, but having to be really careful. And if you damage your boat, you have to repair it on the run, and there's something coming. I don't think you can repair it on the run, but that makes it worse though, right? You've got to make it back to the harbor to get to the boat builder who can like patch it up. Yeah. And you like a couple of the, like, again, I played enough to get some, I guess, quests where characters will be like, oh, I need you to go and deliver this, like take this package over to this particular spot. And you really start to feel the crunch when you leave, because how this starting area is, it's sort of like a little cove, and it's got like little rocky emplacements where you feel nice and safe. But once you go beyond that and you start seeing the more open sea, you start to feel a bit less safe. And it's just, I don't know. It's just got this vibe that I'm really into, and I desperately want this game so badly, please. When does it come out? 2023 is all we know. So it's next year. I think, and the other thing too with it being like, the fact that like that it refers to itself as a sanity meter when you're out there. It's like, so they're like, don't stay out past 6 o'clock because otherwise, and I think the tooltip is like, your sanity meter will start to drop and things will start to happen. And then it starts like giving me memories of like Eternal Darkness and stuff like that, where that game would mess with you massively. Yeah, like once your sanity meter would drop, and once it starts getting past 6 o'clock, you definitely start hearing things as you're sailing back home, and you're like,
I don't know what that sound is, but I don't want to be near it, so I'm going to head home.
That's what I want to ask, because you said you went home and you pop your headphones on. A game like this, I think a lot of it would come down to sound design. Please tell me it nails it.
Yeah, like I really dug the sound design. Even like the simple things of like the fishing sounds, the reeling, the dredge sound effects as you're like pulling up wrecks and stuff. And like even when you scrape against a rock, it all sounds really good.
I've been playing Scorn a bit lately. And look, I'm not loving it. But one of the coolest things the game does is really, really good sound design. The 3D audio on that is so unnerving. So I imagine a game like this, if you could really hear the water like ripple at night and you just don't know what it is, that would hit hard. You can
hear like the sloshing of the water as you move along through it. It's just it is like pitch. They've nailed exactly what they need to with the sound.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's coming in 2023. So far they've announced it's coming to PC and Nintendo Switch.
I'll be playing that. I think I'll actually play that on PC.
Yeah, me too,
in a dark room, bigger screen.
Yeah.
All right, I'm keen for that. Another game I'm keen on is a game that I checked out called Spiritual. Did you guys see that? Or get a chance to play Spiritual?
I watched you play a little bit of it.
I didn't get a chance to play it, but I've got the Kickstarter page open on my phone for when it goes live.
I think it actually is live now.
Oh.
Yes. Spiritual.
I'll wait till the show's over.
This is an indie game made by David Chen from Melbourne. Got to speak to him. Absolutely lovely guy. He's been working on it for a few years. He's hoping it actually comes out possibly early next year. Very much inspired by like Ghibli and Japanese RPGs. You play as a small boy. You fall down a well. You get washed down a river. And you wake up in like a magical world with spirits and sprites and such. That's been done to death. None of that is new. What I love is there's no combat in this game. I'm so sick of combat in games, which sounds stupid because I love games with combat in them, but I really like when, especially indie developers, take a risk and think outside the box. You have encounters with people, but you talk them out, or you play little mini games. Okay, you run into trees and you collect apples, or you jump across mushrooms or whatever, and you solve problems non-violently. So what this game does is really rely on its writing. And I haven't smiled playing a game like this in so long. There's a character named Cappy. He's a Kappa. And he runs up to you, and all the characters are quite childlike. Even these sprites and these spirits are kids, but they torture you because they think that they're adults. So he's telling you that he's like the leader of like a pirate crew. You just know it's him and his dumb friends, okay? But the way he's talking it up, it's like, we run this city. This town is ours. You need to get through us first. But you talk to him, and he's trying to show off. And I actually laughed out loud at this moment when he's talking about turning into his bridge form, and it builds up. The music builds up, and I'll get to the music in this game in a moment. The music builds up, and he's shaking. He's like, "Oh shit, what's gonna happen here?" And he just falls into his side, and he's like tries to become a human bridge, but he's not long enough to go across the river span, so it's just nothing. It is. I didn't expect it from a game like this, because there's charming, which a lot of indie games can handle, but funny doesn't always happen.
I don't want to draw too many obvious comparisons.
I know where you're going from this. Yeah,
it's sounding a lot. Not honestly in a really good way.
Yeah.
Like the next sort of step of a game like Undertale.
He was saying he's very much inspired by Undertale.
Yeah. But that's the thing. What I like about it, because obviously Undertale is similar, but it still has the combat. I do love the idea of solving problems as the mini games and not having the combat side at all. That sounds really intriguing.
Yeah. Watching you play it, when I was sitting behind you, you and Felix play it, the art style and like the way it was written, it felt very Undertale. And again, I'm not trying to like,
you don't want to pigeonhole it, but like, I say that as a compliment. Like,
exactly, I think so too.
It wears the influence on its sleeve.
Yeah.
So you can see a lot of Undertale. You can see a lot of Ghibli in it. But it's like, look, if you're going to draw inspiration from a few things, okay.
Yeah. Undertale
wears its inspiration on its sleeve by being like Mother and Earthbound.
It's like I Am an Earthbound game pretty much. Like Toby Fox made an Earthbound ROM hack, and that's sort of where a lot of the stuff even started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It looked really interesting. Like, but
I didn't play it. I might go look up a trailer because I haven't heard any of the music from it yet.
Well, that's what I want to talk about. The music in this game is phenomenal. So I watched an interview with Dana Yun. She composed the game from Melbourne as well. I love the quote she said to describe the game, and she said, "The game is a bunch of intricate little bits that fit together like a constellation." I'm like, it's touching. But she's explaining about how her and David didn't know what the music they wanted was, and they were just throwing kind of words back and forth, and it didn't. Those words don't have anything meaning like musically, like make the music sound more naive, but they clicked and they knew what they were going for. I really like that because when I was playing the game, I was playing it with Felix, and the amount of times him and I, we both had headsets on, and the amount of times we looked at each other like, this song is good. It's like, it sticks in your head, and every character has their own little theme. So you know when like Cappy comes up to you, it's all really like joyous and fun music, but it's so catchy, and you get really excited when you hear it because you know, I'm about to have some really like fun dialogue. The writing, the animation at some points, it's so fluid. It looks so good. I'm very excited for this game.
If that Kickstarter's live tonight, like I am backing that game as soon as we finish recording.
I would suggest it. Now, moving on to Joel. I don't know why I said that. I said your name so bogan. You just said Joel. Now, Joel, mate, you played a little bit of a little game called fucking Bop. Topple Pop.
Yes. Topple Pop. Topple Pop Bungie Blockbusters, I think is the full title. This was a game that I didn't even know. I wasn't going to play because I was like, I sort of saw it and was like, I kind of get what the vibe of this is. It wasn't until one of our friends, Brod, was like talking to one of the developers after I was playing the other game I'm going to talk about later, but and I walked over and I was like having a look at it, and then a unit opened up and it was like 2 controllers there, so I was like, all right, cool, give it a go. And yeah, I kind of fell in love with it and have been thinking about it on and off since I played it. So yeah, Topple Pop Bungie Blockbusters. It's by Kima Games. Bunch of friends who've been like friends together for like 10 plus years, and they started making stuff in 2018. I think this is their first game from memory. And it is basically, I don't know, like the elevator pitch would be, I guess, like a Tetris style game with bungee cords.
I would say that's a pretty good way to pitch it, honestly.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's more than that, but that is like the pitch.
The secondary pitch to that would be also it takes inspiration, I would say, from something like Puzzle Fighter, and like those types of like Puyo Puyo Tetris and things like that as well, like where you have those modes where you can play competitively. But basically, you're a bunch of you play as animals that are on bungee cords, and you like grab blocks from the top of the screen and dive down and try and stack them against other similar colored blocks to make chain reactions and remove those blocks. And if you're playing in like the mode that I played was like, it was in the story mode, but it was like a versus match.
Podcast.
Hey,
going back.
We fucking did it. We did it. Yeah. So it's it was like a versus match basically. So it was like 2v2. And when you were doing well enough, like it would send blocks across to the other side and sort of like clog up their map and vice versa. So the game's going to have like a full like a story mode that you can play cooperatively as well. You can play it full co-op. It's got like couch co-op in mind. It's got they've even said stuff about like they've designed it with esports in mind. So having that sort of like competitive element to it. And I really felt that because it's it's really simple to get the idea of, but then once I started playing around with the mechanics of the game, there were a lot more things that you could do.
I was gonna say, like, when the guy was explaining it, he talked about how, like, they've got, like, the how to play stuff sort of in front of the monitor so you can sort of look at the controls, but he did mention that there is other stuff you can do that's not mentioned there that's sort of more advanced and, like, aimed at that deeper level of play, which is really interesting.
Because at the base level, honestly, like, it felt good anytime the bungee cord would, like, catch and, like, you would go down and it would get tight. There was no physical or haptic feedback or anything like that, but it was just like the game feel of it was really good. Like, it felt nice. It was the right, and I think when we were talking to one of the developers, I mentioned to him that I was like, it felt like it had just the right amount of out of controlness in a way. Like, so it made you, it could have easily fallen into one of those categories where it's just like, whoa, it's wacky and crazy. Look how out of control you are. It's really hard to, but no, you've still got agency over that character and you can still do tricky shit with it. But there was that little element of, like, chance and risk with it as well, that you weren't always completely in control because you're on a bungee cord. So you're just, like, bouncing all over the place.
This is a game, when we went out for drinks, everyone was talking about this. This was the game I think everyone just had the most fun with it. This is probably the game that I heard the most about over the weekend, but I never got a chance to play it.
It's really good. I honestly, and it's one of those games where weirdly, I got home from PAX and I think it was the Monday, and I think I dropped you off at the train station car and to head home, and I went back home and sat on the couch and I was like, I wish that game was out. I could really play some more of that game right now. Like, I really felt like I wanted to play more of it.
The demo is still up on Steam.
Yes. Yeah. So there is a demo up on Steam. I need to download it and have another crack at it because it's really fun. And the art style is really, really fun and colorful. When I was saying before the match, the mission or whatever that I played with my friend, our opponents were, what were they called? Keith and like Ryan or something. And they were dressed like Ryu, and they were animals, but they were dressed like Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter. And I was like, that's very funny, especially because of the very puzzle fighter feel that it has to it. There's like, you've got like elements of like sharp shooting and control. You can like throw stuff and launch yourself across the map as well to like catch things. I don't know. It's like this beautiful, like controlled chaos that was so much fun to play. And it's honestly, as soon as this comes out, I'm going to get it because I feel like this is going to be one of those ones, especially I don't know what platforms it's coming to at this stage. PC, it's like on Steam at the moment to wishlist, and it's saying 2023 at this stage. But I would be very surprised if this game wasn't on the Switch because I feel like it would live at home there.
I hate being one of those people, but like this is a game that I see, I'm like, if that was on Switch, I would have it. I would keep it installed.
Exactly. Kyran, that's kind of our shtick on dialogue options. It's just like, oh, this game was on Switch. But yeah, like honestly, I think if this comes out on Switch, it'll be like a day one, download it. It lives on my Switch. Because I feel like, again, with the couch co-op element of it as well, just being like, hey, do you want to play a game play this game? It's like, what is it? Ah, cool. So just think Tetris, but you're going from top to bottom on a bungee cord and like dropping stuff to try and make connections. So it's a lot of fun. It's going to be
a game where I think it's going to be insane to watch people stream it who are really good at it. Because that controlled chaos is really fun because you can play it and just fail and it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see people who master it and it looks like effortless, you're going to have the most clutch matches. Like you're doing the freakiest stuff to win a game.
Yeah. And honestly, like with them saying so, like having an emphasis on sort of like that esports vibe, and even talking to the developer himself, where he was like, that's the kind of thing that they want people to be, they want their game to be approachable to anyone, but they also want to have that element of like really competitive nature, because he himself was saying like, I'm a very competitive person. I played a lot of esports, like competitive games like that. And I love that feeling. So I wanted to carry it across into into something like this. It's one of those ones where it's just like looks like this cute, inoffensive puzzler on its surface, but I think the more you dig into it, the deeper it'll get, and I think the more you'll get out of it as well. Really cool stuff. So Topple Pop Bungie blockbusters.
One of the story mode fellas who was telling me about that game as well was Felix, who came down from Queensland to play the games, to come to PAX. We all got to meet him for the first time. Felix, good bloke. Felix wanted to be on this podcast, but life got in the way, work got in the way. But I know that he really wants to talk about some of the indie games he played. So through the power of ancient magics that I have, the mystical arts that I have studied for the last 15 to 20 minutes, I will invoke Felix to talk about a game called Schrodinger's Cat Burglar. Fantastic name for a game. Okay.
So good.
I need you guys to chant, to say, Felix, talk now. We all have to say it on 3. Felix, talk now, okay?
All right.
3, 2, 1. Felix, talk now.
Talk
oh my
now.
God. Holy shit. Felix, just do your bit. Oh my God.
Whoa! Oh, I'm here. Everyone, shut up. All of you. Especially you, Jesse. Shut up. I need to talk about Schrodinger's Cat Burglar. It is a adorable little puzzle game by Abandoned Sheep where you play as a cat, which is absolutely just the cutest thing in the world. The lead designer did amazing things with animation, showing the cat like typing on a keyboard. You can do tons of cat things like pushing things off tables, carrying things around your mouth. It's beautiful. It kind of reminds me of playing Stray a lot. You know, that level of care of putting in so many man hours into just purely representing a cat and everything a cat loves doing. But the idea of Schrodinger's Cat Burglar is that you play as a little kitty that gets split into 2 states. Both begin as neutral, like you know, Schrodinger's cat thing, theory, whatever it is. I don't know what quite it is. But the real clincher is that when you get observed as one of your states, it becomes observed, and then the other one of your states becomes theoretical. And you can switch between them as playable characters. And while your observed state is being watched, your theoretical state can move through doors and do other puzzle elements. The demo wasn't terribly long, but it showed a really, really good foundation for a puzzle game that I think will be really, really cool when it comes out. It's got a whole cast of zany characters, and hey, not to be a broken record about this, you all know how much I love another game with a certain animal thief, and they're equally as strange animal friends, all right? So I'm not directly comparing the 2 games, but it is up my alley. That's all I'm saying. It's cute, it's fun, and honestly, it's worth whatever they want to charge for it. So keep it on your radar, and make sure you check out Abandoned Sheep. They're doing some really cool stuff. I don't have much time left, but don't act like you all pre-recorded your part. That's my one preference, because it's not a good joke. Like we've done it already. I don't want to hear, oh, I really like that bit where he did this, or yeah, I'm sure that was really insightful, Felix. It's not funny, guys. Like really, like we've overdone that joke. I'm running out of time.
Thanks for that, Felix. I'm sure that was insightful, funny, and look.
I really like the
you
part.
said there.
He really
Maybe
sold me on
Who
it.
knows?
He really did.
He did?
Yes.
He did.
A very
I did
convincing
play Schrodinger's
argument.
Cat Burglar, and it was fantastic. I walked over there just because the name drew me in.
Yep.
But the gameplay mechanic is so clever. It is so clever.
I saw it and I didn't get a chance to play it, but yeah, the name, I was just like, it was one of those ones where I'm like, it stuck with me just because of the name of it. Brilliant.
I saw a little girl and her mum playing it, and they were having a ball, and it was one of the cutest things I've ever seen.
I actually want to say that because of to briefly interrupt our indie specific stuff and go to more general PAX. Because of like the lack of AAAs, it was kind of cool seeing like families over in front of the indie stalls. That was really neat.
Yeah, I think every indie game I played, there was like a small kid waiting behind it, and I was like, "Here, have the controller. You can have fun with this.
Get in there."
And they were just having fun with it. Right. It was good. It was really, really good. Let's move on to another one of my picks, and another game that I went to purely based on its name, The Godfeather. The first game I actually saw when I walked into PAX. It was right near the front door.
Yeah.
This is a game from Hojo Studios. They're the team behind Inflatality. Did you guys ever play that?
I never played it, but I saw
waving
it.
inflatable.
I remember seeing that.
tube made you fight
Yeah.
other. Such a fucking dumb game.
Art
but it was
style
so
is
good.
very similar now.
Good.
That makes so much
good.
sense too now. Yeah. I remember like the art style looks very similar. Yeah. It's got a very.
It's a top-down stealth roguelike where you play a member of the Pigeon Mafia. The team behind it said, you know, when you look at birds and you're like, how are they so organized? They're all like, you know, flying together. Like, what's all this then? Well, you find it. It's the Pigeon Mafia. Some fantastic names in this game. My favorite one being Joey Typebeak. Hey, yo, I'm Joey Typebeak.
That's good.
I'm going to get my
Typebeak.
one complaint out of this game
Gotta go
out
suck a lemon.
now. That is the exact thing I thought. Joey Taylor, let's go suck a lemon.
Suck a lemon.
There's no voice acting in this game. I will do it for free. Hey yo,
Jesse, you're setting a very dangerous precedent in these times.
Joey
right now.
T.
You're setting a very dangerous precedent by saying that in these times. Don't be going out there saying that.
I'll do it for free for the first game, but if I'm coming back,
God.
okay, I want some more. I will have earned some more. Basically, you play the pigeon. You're defending your Pigeon Mafia's turf from other birds, other people. You've got cats to avoid, drones, bigger birds, and lawn Karens who will squirt you with a hose. You have to go around and
Good. That's
swoop and
really
poop.
good.
the term I've seen a lot is swoop and poop. So you swoop some people, you poop on some people. Some people you need to swoop then poop. Some people you need to poop then swoop. It's a roguelike, so it's all procedure randomly generated. You know the term I was looking to say that I've completely blanked on the term is. And every time you die, you come back and you've got a few different upgrades. So you get better each time. Each positive run you do, you get extras. There are bosses. Yada yada yada. So on the Steam page it says, whether it's tree snitches, diners at brunch, enemy birds, rival suppliers, fleeing informants, or fresh laundry just waiting to be redecorated, they all gotta go. This game's simple. It's super simple. The art style's simple. It's dumb and it's fun. Voice acting in this game would elevate it to another level because the character designs are so cool. It's just pigeons in The Sopranos.
Yep.
It's so good. So good.
This is one of the games I really wanted to play, but I completely missed it, unfortunately. I didn't get around to it. I did look up though, the demo is still live on Steam apparently. So
awesome.
I am
I'll have to
gonna
queue it
play
up.
this. Yeah.
They were giving away little bags of seed as well.
Oh, that's so good.
That's great.
But it was like a little plastic bag, so I think it was meant to almost look like drugs.
Oh, that's the best.
So well played. Just so many. This team is clearly quite funny because Inflatality is hilarious.
Right.
I'm hoping they went to town on the writing on this because there are cutscenes and stuff like that. I didn't get to experience any of them, but I've seen screenshots of them. I'm hoping they have just gone super pun heavy because, even when on some of the stickers and stuff they were giving away, instead of chilling with the boys, it was chilling with the boys.
Oh, that's good.
Just little touches like that.
good
Yeah,
stuff.
the boys are here. My boy Joey Typebeak's over here.
Oh,
And I was standing there playing it. I just kept saying the word gabagool, and everyone around me knew what I was doing.
you just know the
Get
devs
Chris
are
Pratt
taking
to voice this game.
right. Yeah, no, all the devs are sitting back taking notes, just being like, "Yes, good, okay, it's working. Everything is working as planned."
Yeah, they've got a list of okay, who's appropriate voice actors here? We've got Italian American. Oh no, we'll cross that out. Do we have any Indian Irishman? Oh yeah, we've got one. He does a podcast.
Yep.
We're very much we're an in-demand people. Moving on to another sort of dumb fun game. Joel, you played Box Night, and this was a blast.
Box Night. This was like my number one must play going into PAX because it was one of the like the indie showcase winners. They usually have like 7 or so games that they sort of put a big spotlight on, essentially. Funnily enough, I believe Super Adventure Pals in a previous year was one of these games made by Massive Monster, who then went on to make Cult of the Lamb. So, yeah. So they have like a little like a little sticker they can have on their booth saying this was selected by our committee of people, essentially. So I'd sort of seen this in the when they announced all the winners, because every time that happens I always have a look because I'm like planning my weekend around that, just being like, what indie games am I playing this weekend? And this was top of the list. So basically, the elevator pitch for this one that they give on their website for Box Night says a funny, silly, and irreverent action RPG roguelike, a mix of The Office and Lord of the Rings with an animated cartoon-like aesthetic. So, already sounded great. I was like, cool. I watched a trailer for it and it really sold me on it. It has sort of, again, not to be too pigeonholy, but it has like the enemy designs especially have like a Rick and Morty kind of like Justin Roiland feel to them, which I'm okay with.
I feel like a Justin Roiland design with a Family Guy art style, that isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's the first thing I thought.
Yep. No, that's actually a very good comparison there. But yeah, basically you're playing as like someone who works in like an office complex, and at 5 o'clock on a Friday, dons their cardboard helmet and their cardboard tube sword and becomes the Box Knight, who is the sworn protector of the office because basically morale's gotten pretty bad around the office, so bad that everyone's like shitty vibes have like manifested into monsters. So you as the Box Knight have to go around and get rid of these monsters and thus the bad morale and work your way all the way up to the CEO's office and take out the CEO and bring back 5 o'clock work drinks on a Friday. And like that's how they described the developers described it to me. And that line about like beating the CEO and bringing back 5 o'clock work drinks to bring back morale was just like the most fucking Australian thing I've ever heard. And I was like, yes, this is good. This is good stuff.
I saw those devs give that same spiel to a few different people, and there was that moment you could tell who worked in an office.
Yeah.
Because there was like that anime flash over their eyes.
Yep.
Where they're just like, I need to play this.
Yeah.
I need to vent.
Yeah.
I played it pretty quickly. As soon as they said that, I'm like, yep, I'm in.
Yes. It's so yeah, gameplay wise, it's like a side scrolling beat 'em up game. It is a roguelike as well, so you are sort of seeing how far you can get. Obviously it was only a demo, so I don't know how things like checkpoints work. I'm assuming there will be. I don't even know how long how big the tower is, like the office complex. It could only be like 3 or 4 floors, who knows. But yeah, so you have like different combos you can do, like heavy and light moves. You've got like mana to use like special moves and things like that. You've also got, I guess, for lack of a better word, Estus flasks you can use to restore health, which is really, really good. And yeah, so it just felt really, really good to play. It's also a dash. So like games like this get like an extra tick in the box for having a dash button, I would say.
And you could dash in the air as well, couldn't you?
Yes, you can air dash as well.
That's imperative as well. If you've got a dash, I bet I'll be able to do an air dash as well as a ground dash.
Yeah, and the dash does damage as well, I believe. It can be
even
used,
better.
I think it's an attack. So because as you go through the demo does a really good job of like introducing you to different types of enemies. And then there are some enemies that like your like ground pound special move attack is doesn't work on them because they have helmets on, or there are ones that have like breastplates on. So when you do the dash attack, it doesn't affect them either. So you've got to start thinking how to combo up to sort of, crowd control essentially. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this game. Like, it's being like this, like a side-scrolling beat 'em up game. I got a bit of a soft spot for those sort of things. Not for any particular reason, just because I like to play them. I don't have like a nostalgic attachment to them or anything. And being a roguelike, that's the ones that I do have a nostalgic attachment to, where I just love that shit. So,
and it's just that Australian like larrikin vibe to it.
Yeah,
because that can easily go wrong. I guess I've seen some games try to do it and just like, oh, okay, this is shit. This seems fun. It's hard to very much in the right place. It's like a cheeky dig at office culture. I think everyone can relate to that a little bit.
It gave me a little bit of some vibes of a game that came out last year or two from Aggro Crab called Going Under.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, and a bit different, but I can see the vibes that you're connecting there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Going Under was more dealing with like startup culture and like tech startup companies and things like that, and it did a very good job of like poking the hornet's nest of that subject. And I feel like this does the same sort of thing as well. Yeah, I don't know. It was just so charming and fun and silly and stupid, but really enjoyable to play. It's pretty violent as well. I'll say that. Like, in its own like cartoony way. It also has like a really great like sort of Saturday morning cartoon intro video that plays as well, which is really fun.
Yes, that was sick.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that.
Animated really well. It looks gorgeous, and sort of sets the tone for what you're getting yourself into. So I believe, yes, the demo is still up on Steam for that as well. So if you want to go play it, you can go play it on Steam. And they've listed it for Q2 2023. So on PC, again, not sure about other platforms. But
well, because they had the beta sign up sheet there, didn't they?
They did, and they were saying what platform, and you could list whatever you wanted. So
I mean, maybe they were gauging to see what popular ones. Yeah, but again,
I just wrote all
Switch.
I wrote pretty much all
give
as well.
Give it to me on something, and I'll play it.
It's I'm gonna play this game when it comes out. It's great. Like it has it's such a good idea for a story or a game. Like having that be such a relatable thing. Not for me personally. I've never really worked in an office per se, but like
two front points actually, Joel, because you've never worked in an office, but also you haven't finished watching Lord of the Rings. So
what the fuck's that about, man?
I was fucking waiting for it. As soon as I was read
bring
that
it up earlier,
quote,
but I was like, I'll wait.
Well, now we can talk about, Kyran and I had a beautiful moment. We went and saw Galadriel's armor.
It was awesome.
Beautiful.
I got a Southlands pin. It rocked.
Yep, I've got that still. We came in on a Saturday. We watched the finale. Oh, sorry, not the finale, but we watched the episode that week. We were firing on all cylinders, and Joel's like, "What's the ring? What's Mordor? Who's Gollum? Come on!"
And we were
mate,
like, "Joel, they're not even in Rings of Power." Oh,
are we good? We're good. Yeah,
Joel, your name has a ring in it. Okay, unless you're gonna change your name to Gel, I suggest you get on board. Okay,
gonna need some aloe vera gel after all those burns. Anyway, box night. Great.
He killed it.
Speaking of burns, the fires of Mordor.
Now, Joel, Mordor is the place in Middle Earth where
I've had a rough episode. This one's been a rough one for me. I'm not gonna lie.
If I had to compare Return of the King to a Star Wars,
which Lord of the Rings movie would you compare that to?
Fucking hell. In my head, that sounded like an apt comparison. Fuck me.
I love that you said that because I said something before that look, let's face it, we've all now forgotten. I said something and what I said made no fucking sense. I was like, oh my God, what is this? Can I slip Keelan like a 20 and get him to edit that out and make me sound smarter?
No, it's all right. You can always count on Joel to come in and just out dumbify you. It's fine.
Joel's got your back.
Well, we do have one more game to discuss. Well, look, Felix, we need to invoke the spirit of Felix, guys. But before we called to the spirit of Felix, the ghost, Joel's doing his best Doctor Strange impersonation.
Yeah, doing the hand
pretty
signs.
good. But I brought something that I think will encourage his spirit to visit us. I have the ocarina. So I'm going to play a small song. Fucking hell. I did this once. Years and years and years ago, I started a video game podcast. I can't even remember what it was called. We did like 5 episodes. And one of the episodes we talked about Zelda. And I had the sheet music for one of the songs. And I played it. And it was bad. But, Felix, this is for you.
Well, that was the worst ocarina performance I've ever heard in my entire life. But I guess I'm desperate to talk about this game, so I guess I'm here. I need to talk to you all about Conscript, a survival horror game set in World War I in the trenches. It actually opens in the Battle of Verdun, which was a very tumultuous time in the conflict. You play as a French soldier searching for your missing in action brother, and well, yeah, it doesn't go so well. That's probably what I'll say. It is fantastic. It's dripping with atmosphere, and it is oozing, just like oozing with style and flair. It gives me Resident Evil vibes. It's got blood, it's got gore, and actual genuine scares. I mean, like, I played the demo and I actually jumped several times. There's some actual genuine frights in this game. It has a real awesome combat system, which is its biggest, its biggest plus. It's both extremely slow. It's blood pumping as well, though. It's very crunchy. It's very tense. It's kind of like those old Resident Evil games where it's a bit unwieldy to shoot your gun, but that makes it so much more intense when you actually get into a conflict. You feel like you get frightened, and then you're holding up your rifle, but you have to fumble around with the reload, and you've forgotten to reload, so you have to fumble around, and you might get stabbed, and then the guy comes up and whacks you over the head. It's terrifying. It is truly terrifying. I played it late at night, which I highly recommend. Get cozy and play it yourself. It is just a demo right now, but once that full game comes out, you best believe I'm there. Especially if you like Resident Evil puzzles, you should be there too. And if you like that style of gameplay too, upgrading your weapons, strange merchants that seem to just find their way around the map. Yeah, it really builds on its inspiration of Resident Evil, clearly, but it's doing new things for that genre. I guess you could call it like the Empire Strikes Back of video games, like if I was to compare it to that. I think that's probably what I would go for. All right, guys, I'm done talking to you. I don't want to see your faces again or hear any of that god-awful ocarina. Keep on keeping on.
Thank you for that, Felix. And I can't believe that you also compared Conscript to a Star Wars film.
For fuck's sake.
Who would have thought that would have become such a motif in this episode?
Never expected it, but here we are. Here we are.
Listener, dear podcast listener or YouTube watcher, through the power of editing, you have missed many a minute of us dunking on Joel. George Lucas McDonald.
I don't need to give anyone any more reasons to dunk on me. I got plenty of them, but still, I just keep.
You gifted that one to us, and we are thankful. We are thankful for that, Joel.
Just handing them out. Oh, damn it.
Fucking hell. Okay. I've got the giggles. We're going to wrap it up now. I'm going to keep laughing at things. I apologize. Also, Joel, I'm making fun of the dumb thing you said to cover up the dumb thing I said. So
I'm just here for a good time. I'm just enjoying it.
Kyran just had a very articulate episode, hasn't he?
I'll be the stool pigeon. Fuck.
Hey, yo, we're just hanging here with the boys.
Hey.
You looped it back around. That's beautiful.
Here.
If you want to hear more of whatever the fuck this has been, okay, we're on Spotify and iTunes and all other good podcasting platforms. Search for Story Mode, a video game podcast, and search for dialogue options. In future, you better find them all in one place, but at the moment, the fusion dance takes a moment. Okay, we're still fusing together, Scorn style. Our bodies are just merging into one.
The good news is, though, when we do fuse, it doesn't have a 30-minute timer, so it's It's okay.
Yeah.
I hope.
Shit.
Fingers crossed. But you can follow all of us at Story Mode AUS or at Dialogue Options. That's Facebook, that's Twitter, that's your gram. We're everywhere, including Twitch, where some people have watched this live, and I hope you enjoyed the weird little edited out bits. It's been a strange one.
I also hope they enjoyed the extra dunks on Joel that the audio listeners.
Oh, that was dunks. Holy shit. Joel's so sad right now. You can check it out on Twitch at twitch.tv/storymode-AUS. And as I mentioned at the jump, we now have a YouTube channel, and we're really, really proud of the stuff we're putting out in there. Just search for Story Mode Gaming. Of course, there's links all over our socials as well if you can't find it. We'll be putting up podcasts in future. We have our live show from Wrecked. We'll be doing weekly news updates in the future, reviews, gameplay, previews. We want to do a lot of stuff with a lot of these indie games that we've mentioned today. So if any of them have caught your attention, keep an eye on our YouTube, and hopefully we can get you real pumped up for these bad boys. Now, if you want to follow us individually on Twitter, I'm at Jesse Spanner. Kyran?
I am at LemonManX.
Joel?
I am at Jolie Mac.
Just look for
Carl Urban Chaos. Yes.
Carl Urban Chaos. Exactly right.
I want people to tweet at Joel what Star Wars movie would they compare this podcast to? If they were like, look at this podcast, but what Star Wars movie is this like? Just let Joel know.
Oh, God. That might be the fucking dumbest thing I've ever said on record.
Sometimes you're a free thinker. You do what you want to do. You can say you're a real Rogue One.
Or one of the rebels, you would say.
Kyra, we shouldn't piss him off too much. He'll go solo. That's all the jokes I have. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of Star Wars media. Like we could keep going.
Exactly. That's why it's the best review scale.
Yeah.
Because there's so many degrees. When you see a game reviewed and it's like, oh, no, it's an 8. Oh, no, that's not good. An 8's a fantastic game. At least with Star Wars titles, there's so many degrees, okay?
It's a real Rise of Skywalker.
I'm going to end this now before Joel kills us. Guys, thank you for listening. Joel, Kyran, thanks for joining in. The goes to Felix. Rest your soul, sweet prince.
Up in Kingsland.
Up in Kingsland. Hope you guys had fun. Hope you guys check out some of these games. And we'll catch you next time. Play some games. Be safe. Bye.
Bye.